General rule, breakouts will happen when the least amount of people are expecting it. I've mentioned the cancellation index before. It's kind of a proprietary tool. It's nothing really special. It's just the amount of people that are getting frustrated and canceling their subscription, and this always peaks right before a big move. So the cancellation index, obviously, it spiked right in here. This is where the cartel basically died. They're not dead, but they're just not going to be able to suppress price to any great extent anymore. They tried multiple times here to drive gold back below 2,000, failed to do it. And I warned people this would happen. All they were going to do was get themselves caught in a major short squeeze. And you can see that's exactly what happened. Huge move. When they could not push gold back below 2,000, they got caught with all those shorts. And that produced a monster move up to 24.50. And then we had another multi-week sideways consolidation. This was, most of you remember, April 12th. That's where I said that we were going to be stuck, either going sideways or we would have to have a corrective move back down into an intermediate cycle low. Turns out we just went sideways, and that seems to be the pattern here. Is mostly sideways corrections. Now I think that'll change here once we get our next intermediate top, and we'll have a deep intermediate correction. But retail traders, especially impatient retail traders, they just seem to be determined to make the wrong move at exactly the wrong time. They get frustrated. Things aren't happening quick enough for them, and they give up. They go searching for something else to trade. They cancel their subscription right before a breakout move occurs. So we had a long consolidation here that's produced, and I think this is probably only about halfway over. I think we've got further to go here still. But I watched as people got frustrated, canceled, and then missed this move. And then the same thing happened here, and I did multiple videos on this. We had 15, I think it was either 14 or 15 tests of this resistance zone here at 25.50. And I warned people that the cartel was trying to suppress price. They weren't able to take it down, but they were frustrating retail traders, and people were giving up, and that what was going to happen was the cartel was going to get caught in another short squeeze, and all those retail traders that didn't have any patience, couldn't wait for the move, would get left behind when the breakout occurred. And like I say, they always occur when you least expect it, and that's exactly what happened. Once the suppression broke, we had a very quick move of another 150 points very quickly. So all of these retail traders that were getting frustrated and giving up on the metals, then they got left behind here. And what happens is you get a strong breakout move as the short squeeze starts to develop. And then they can't buy. They can't buy the breakout because it's overbought. And so they wait, and they wait for a pullback. And then, of course, when you get a small pullback here, then you're undecided. You don't know whether the pullback is. You want to time a perfect entry. You want to get in at exactly the bottom and then ride the rest of the move. And so you don't know whether this pullback is just a one-day event or a two-day event, and so you hesitate to pull the trigger because you're not sure if this is the perfect entry or not. And then what happens, of course, is the short squeeze starts to tighten again, and it starts to run away from you on the upside, and you missed your chance. And then generally, somewhere up in here, this is where FOMO really starts to take effect, and that's where people start buying, and that, of course, was our resistance zone at 2,700. And we're starting to see it again. You know, they're starting to make the same mistake that they made here, that they made here, that they made here. Things aren't happening quick enough for them, and so they're giving up and they're quitting right as this flag is developing, and we're gonna break out to the upside when everyone least expects it. And I think we've still got at least 100 points to go, probably 150 before this rally's done, and we've got to have a ballistic phase in silver before this intermediate cycle is done. And then once that phase is over, that is your clue that we're coming to the end of the phase, is you'll get that ballistic move in silver. I tend to think it's probably going to reach $40. I think $37 is almost a lock. $40 I think is very likely, and an off chance that we might even get to 43. But until we get that ballistic phase in silver, it's not over. So if you're losing patience here, you're making, you know, the classic retail trader mistake. You're getting frustrated and you're giving up, and you'll do this. Most people will do this right before the breakout move occurs. I've given my subscribers an almost foolproof way to trade this, so that you don't give in to frustration and you don't get caught on the sidelines before the breakout occurs. And let me show you silver here. We've had two tests of this breakout zone already. You know, we're trying to knock as many retail traders off as possible here today, so that you know, as few traders as possible will be in position when the breakout comes. But it's too early for this to be an intermediate top, and this is just, the cartel is just trying to they're trying to stop the move. They're not going to be able to stop the move, but they will slow it down long enough and knock enough people off to where then when the breakout comes, you'll have a lot of people on the sidelines, and then those are the people that have to chase the move. And that's what powers the ballistic move, is you just get a whole lot of retail traders that didn't have the patience to wait for the move and got left behind when the breakout occurred, and then they have to, at some point they have to chase, and that's what powers that ballistic move. So you've got to be in, really, you've got to be in before the breakout occurs. And again, I've given all of my subscribers an almost foolproof method to make sure you are in, make sure you don't get frustrated and don't get knocked out by these attempts to block the move, because ultimately they are not going to succeed, and silver is going to break through this resistance and give us that ballistic move.